Welcome to February of 2026. We are doing our episode on transportation, ways of getting around. I am Jenn Lin. This is Debbie. Welcome to the Unpopular Playground, where our theme is the Great Escape. And in order to get to work, you're going to need transportation. And if you don't have a car, you're going to need to know how to get around. And I'm going to let Debbie start off with some things. This episode's going to just be on general getting around, and we'll get more specific later. Debbie?
Hi, guys. Well, I'm going to talk to you about getting around as a young adult. This involves a mix of affordable and flexible travel options, such as public transit, which includes trains, buses, Uber, and group travel, along with bicycles like e bikes or regular bikes, or your own wheels. This episode covers the must know tips for stress free travel, from decoding transit maps to budgeting for or like. Key strategies include utilizing smartphones for navigation and rideshare promotions, and embracing budget travel by staying in hostels or volunteering for accommodations. It's also very important to consider safety, such as sharing your locations and staying aware of your surroundings. For local and day to day travel, embrace public transportation. Many young adults prefer public transportation, and cities are increasingly prioritizing these options. Smartphones can provide real time flexibility for planning routes. Use ride sharing and carpooling. Services like Uber and Lyft often have promotions for new accounts. Renting a car with friends can also help split the cost. Walk or bike. For shorter distances, walking or biking is a free and healthy option, and many young adults prefer neighborhoods with good pedestrian and cycling infrastructures. Travel strategies, such as hostels, very affordable accommodations option for solo travels, especially. Volunteering, exchange work for free accommodations and sometimes food, allowing for longer stays. Travel with groups, splitting costs for gas and lodging can make trips significantly cheaper. Leverage your stage of life. University opportunities. Take advantage of school sponsored trips, athletic events, or study abroad programs. Flexible living. Being less tied down to a mortgage or long term career can make it easier to travel, rent, or sublet as needed. Smart booking. Compare flights. Use tools like Google Flights or Skies, Sky to find the cheapest dates, such as weekdays over weekends. Book directly. Sometimes doing so with the service provider can be cheaper than a third party. Keep friends and families updated on your whereabouts, especially during long trips. Stay aware of your surroundings. When walking alone, consider wearing only one headphone to stay alert. You want to make sure you can hear what's going on. Avoid telling strangers that you're traveling alone. Plan for the unexpected. Have a plan if you get lost. This can include having a physical map, which I know today nobody uses maps anymore, but this is a really crucial thing that you should know how to use, because not only do you have Wi Fi, make sure you have maps. And let me tell you, if you go to AAA, they have books and you will have maps for every place you're going to go. You can map out your route. This is just as a backup. This can include having a physical map, knowing how to ask for directions from a store employee, or identifying a landmark that seems familiar. Manage sensory issues. If you have sensory sensitivities, research how to best handle situations with bright lights, loud sounds, or strong smells. Have tools like a squeeze ball or a plan for quiet space if needed. Avoid late night arrivals, really important, especially for young women. Try to avoid booking flights or trains that arrive late at night or driving late at night for that matter, particularly at the beginning of the trip. And that's pretty much all I really wanted to touch on that subject. I mean, Jen, I know you can probably elaborate more on different things. So I left the fillers for you.
Oh, perfect. You brought up a lot of good points that I had already, Debbie. Doing things during the day, arriving during the day, staying alert with the one headphone. As a matter of fact, I know where I work, if you are backstage, you're not allowed to have both headphones in. You always have to have one ear out for safety so you can hear what's going on around you because there's so much going on, and I that's a great idea to do everywhere,
Yeah,
especially because most of the headphones are noise canceling, so you can't hear anything going on around you, and it's not safe to do that
exactly.
for trains. Some of the things I did have different, my focus was with the airplanes and things like that, and I kinda did a general of with commuting in mind. So I thought that was kind of neat how they were a little bit different. I did like for the bus, if you decide to take the bus, some of the pros is cheap, it's discounted, and often you can get passes and they have discounts for students. But one of the cons of taking the bus and one of the reasons why I never like to is because the schedules are limited and the transfers take extra time. A lot of the work hours often go later than what the buses are scheduled. I can get there cheap on the bus, but then I would have to Uber every night or beg for a ride home. That's not very practical for me. It just depends on how far you commute, whether the bus might be an option for you or not. For students to go to the university and things like that, bikes after the initial purchase can be quite expensive. They can run up to anywhere between 100 and almost $1,000 just for a regular pedal bike. It depends on what kind you want. But once you do it, it's pretty affordable if you don't have a long ways to go. And if you want to get a lot of exercise,
Sure.
they also have bike share programs where you can share a bike, which is
Oh,
kind of neat. There's different apps out there that have bike share programs. So you can just look that up, bike share program. The only con about riding a bike is it's weather dependent.
that's
So
not,
if you live in an area where it's snowy, you're not gonna get around very easy and you'll be cold. In the heat, if you're doing the pedaling, you get heat stroke. It can be dangerous that way too. It just depends. I would say maybe fall and spring would be your best options for bike riding. California is pretty easy. Probably your area. It's easy to ride a bike most of the time outside of summer because it doesn't snow. So those are options that are available greater part of the year, which is nice. One thing that I thought was very interesting, I noticed that e-bikes are becoming very popular. When I was in Best Buy to pick up my headphones the other day, they actually I saw they had a whole fleet of e-bikes and they're all running for about $1,000, real thick tires and things like that. And I got real curious on what the requirements are to be able to ride them on the street. One of my coworkers actually has an e-bike and she rides it back and forth. Most for class 1, motors are 750. They do assist only, so it doesn't have a throttle. So it's mostly pedal, and the maximum is 20 miles per hour. No license or registration required for that. And if you're under 18, you have to wear a helmet. Class 2, exactly the same stats. The only difference is it has the throttle. Class 3 is a little bit different. It goes faster, 28 miles per hour. It's like the 2, still 750 power. It doesn't have a throttle and it's power assist, but it goes faster. This one, everybody's got to ride a helmet, no matter what. I think this probably because of the increased speed,
right.
but it's got pedal assist only. Class 1 and 2, they can ride in the bike lanes, the paths, and the roads unless it's prohibited. Class 3, they're not allowed to ride on the bike paths or trails unless they'll permit it specifically, but everybody's got to wear a helmet. DUI rules apply. So you can get a DUI if you ride an e-bike. So don't drink and drive, especially don't be tired and drive. You can get a ticket, and DUIs in most states now is jail time now. So it's being taken very seriously. So even on an e-bike, so watch out on that. And then Debbie, you already mentioned rideshare carpooling. A pro that I had was it's faster than transit. You can split the cost and you can avoid the parking fees.
Right.
If you live in the city, parking can be a lot of money and it can build up. There are also a lot of workplaces that are subsidizing because they want you to carpool. I know Disney does. They have a carpool program. They subsidize people who carpool, which is nice. And I think a lot of the bigger companies do that, which is very nice. They also have the Metro Link here in California. I think if you live in a suburban area that's near the city, though, you can go. Riverside has one. You can go park there, take the Metro Link right into any almost every major city. You don't have to worry about parking. You can chill on the ride. I think they also have a commuter bus as well that stops off there in the same area. But yeah, if you work at night or you have a schedule that goes outside of those areas, then you're stuck. So you have to think about that before you do that. Then you can also start a carpool with your friends and split the cost. If you know people that you're commuting and live in the same area and you work over yonder, I've done that plenty of times. The only downside of that is when you go to pick the people up, they need to be ready because
Yeah.
I don't want to be late. I'd left people behind if I'm the one driving. And if you're the one being picked up by somebody else, do them the common courtesy to be on time. And if you need some help on that, go back and watch our episode on time management. That'll help you out. We and a whole series on time management. So you definitely want to use that when you're using public transportation because they will leave you behind. The bus will leave you behind. The airplane, they got a schedule and they're not going to wait for people. So you need to account and buffer for those times. Walking, Debbie, you mentioned the walking. And then for safety tips of what I had, like I said, I would wear a helmet all the time, any type of bike, because it's not really you think that you're safe, but you can't count on the other people that are going to cut you off and things like that. You fall off that bike and you hit your head first, you're gone. You could have brain damage and your life will never be the same again
Exactly.
because you got to protect what's most important. Use your turn signals. Lock up your bikes. Don't trust anybody if you don't lock your stuff up. If you have a car, keep your valuables hidden, especially now that we're coming into the holidays. Everybody's doing their Christmas shopping. You leave that stuff out and the people see those bags in the car. That's just an invitation to come rob me. As you're going out to your car, we had mentioned it in our safety series. So you can go back and watch the safety series, but this is kind of like a little review, a nice reminder to make sure to inspect your cars. Trafficking going on where people are trying to traffic, especially if you're a young lady, they'll put razor blades in the handles, leave something on top of your dashboard so they think you go out and get it. And then they either go in and take your car or they kidnap you. Watch who's parked next to you. They're putting substances to knock you out. Debbie, I'm actually thinking of getting a pair of nylon gloves to always have in my pocket when I go out shopping on errands so that when I go into my car, I'm touching, if there's a substance on there, then I don't have to worry about it. I can just open my car door. If there's no razor blades, open my
Right.
car door and then just take the glove off and go. And I don't have to worry about it. And then just always make sure to wipe it off because you don't know who's putting things on your car. That is, I don't mean to, we don't mean to scare you, but you do need to be smart and be aware. You can't just go in and open your car door anymore and
Yeah.
just expect everything to be okay. You've got to look out and be aware. And then staring at your phone, walking and staring at your phone. Same as your headphones. If you are not paying attention, it said the easiest victims are the ones who are not paying attention to their surroundings. They're going to look out for the easy targets, just like the out in nature, they look for the lagging one. If you walk with purpose and intention and with your head up, just normal walking, they can tell that you're aware of your surroundings. You're not going to be a target. They're going to be looking for the ones that are staring at their phone and distracted. I saw something that said, ask prisoners. That's what they did. They
Right.
looked for the ones that were distracted. And then check your schedules ahead of time, like Debbie said. And if you're riding public transit, especially the buses, thank your driver, especially if they're your regular driver. Because believe it or not, when something happens, if you're a regular, they're going to look out for you. You end up making an ally. And it's better to make allies than enemies. And if, common courtesy goes a long way with that. Would you agree to that, Debbie?
Oh, I do. I
Sure.
definitely.
And then we talked about gassing up during the day. And I think the only thing I had for etiquette was offer, if you see you're able bodied and you're willing and you see somebody that's pregnant and can barely walk or somebody really elderly or disabled, give up your seat for them. Take the higher road. They're going to be grateful and, and it makes you feel good that you've done something nice for somebody. Kindness goes a long way and you get a lot back in return as well. Don't block the aisles with your bags, whether you're on a airline or a bus. Don't be on the phone with your loud phone. Nobody wants to hear your phone conversation. And then don't hog up the space. If you're in one seat, like on a bus, don't like put all your bags there and then having some people stand up because you have your stuff on the seat. And then let the passengers exit before you go on. Those are some common etiquette things. And also, if you're riding the bus, have your fare ready so you're not having to fumble about and having people wait. So those are the main things that I had for my research. Goes perfectly with what you had. I think I love the stuff that we look up and how it's different, but also on the same thread, and people get two different sets of research.
I agree.
So that's all I have for this one for general information. Review, share it with somebody that is just getting out on about in life and needs to get around. And definitely join us for our next special episode on vehicles. We
Yeah.
decide, you know, public transit isn't for me
Article guides.
on the regular. I want to have my own truck or car or whatever. That's a big responsibility. And we're going to help you know exactly what you need for those if you decide to go that route. So join us next week on that episode. Anything else, Debbie?
No,
Right. Then we will sign off. Stay curious,
stay focused, and
and
we'll
we will see you in the next episode.